I've kept this open. Okay, so this is what the CDS that we have added or we created last time. So guys, maybe you might have seen like we are adding a business logic here, and in parallelly we are also adding the UI annotation. So is there any way that we can differentiate like between a business logic and the UI annotation? Is there any way that we can do? We can do, right? It's possible, but how we can achieve that? So that is a question. So what SAP has done, so SAP already knows this drawback because you're adding this UI annotation at the same place, and you're also adding a business logic in the same case. So what will happen in this case? Like everything will be like it will for sure it would be very hard to handle after some time, because if your logic is little bit like on a complex side, so the lines, the number of code or the lines of code that you add, it will be increased slowly. Uh, okay, so what we will do now? So first of all, we'll create a separate metadata file or extension file. Okay, so we have a concept of metadata extension. So what we basically do in that, we separate the code, like the code that we have added, the annotation code. That code we will separate that code, and we will store that code in a separate metadata.annotation file. Okay, so in that only annotation related things we will store. And apart from that, the business logic or any string functions, whatever the logic we need to write, so that will be written in a default CDS view file. OK, so we can do that now. So just give me 1 minute. OK, so adding annotations, yes. So like separating or creating a different annotation file is very straightforward. So we just have to do few things whenever we are separating that business, the actual backend logic and our UI annotation. So how to separate that? You can go back to your Eclipse. And now this is what the CDS view we created, right? So what is the name of that CDS view? ZTR underscore CDS underscore list report. OK, so now in this case, like we have added this line item selection field, all these fields we have added. So this logic or this annotation code, we will add it or we will maintain this code inside a metadata.extension file. So to create a metadata.extension file, so same like go to file, new. After that, you can go to others, and here you can just search for metadata.extension. OK, so why we are creating this metadata.extension? Because we need to separate that annotation code from business logic. So for that, we will separate that annotation code and we'll store this code inside the metadata.extension file. So just click on this metadata.extension, click next. And now we need to provide a name. So name of this file, will keep it similar to the, 1 second, we'll copy the same name here. OK, so always make sure that whenever you're creating a metadata.extension file, so name of the file, you can keep it similar to your CDS view. OK, so just copy and you can just create that metadata.extension file. So I guess it's already there. OK, so here like specify, you can add a name, same, and here you can add it as metadata extension for CDS list report. And now just click next. Next. And now select annotate view and finish. OK, that's it. So what we did, we just created a separate metadata.annotation file. So in this file, we'll maintain So the code that we have written, basically like the line item selection field, all this code, we will maintain it inside this annotation dot metadata dot extension file. Okay, so here like metadata dot layer. So this layer you can call it as a partner. And after that, we need to provide the annotation view name. So this view name, what should be the view name? So view name, you can keep it as similar to the old one. So the view that we have, you just copy and you provide this name here. That's it. And now we just need to provide a syntax here. OK, so to provide a syntax, so if you're doing control space, so you have an option in insert all elements. So when you say insert all elements, so the elements that you have defined here, the properties that you have defined in your metadata in your default CDS view file, all these elements you can directly add it here. OK, but only the difference between the normal CDS and metadata.extension file is for every line item, like in this CDS view, we used to give a comma, right? So if you're adding one, if you're declaring one more property, so before that we have to provide a comma, but here we have to provide a semicolon. OK, so that is a difference here. OK, so now, so let's do one thing now quickly. So this metadata.extension file, it is not ready as such. So to make this file active, yes, of course, we need to activate. But before we activate, we need to add one more property here on the top. So what property we need to add? We need to add at the rate metadata.allow extension. OK, so when you add this at the rate metadata dot allow extension, then only it will consider the annotations from this metadata dot extension file. OK, so that is must. So this piece of code is must, and we need to add this here. OK, so once you add it, now after that, yes, like the code that you have written, you can just like see, you can directly copy paste this code, or you can just do the cut. We can just add this code here. I guess we added this for sales order, or okay, so only that is a difference, guys. So what it is giving like, see, it is saying annotation metadata dot allow extension missing in ZTR CDS list report. As we have added, but we didn't activated it. So that's why we are getting this error. But once we do Control X. So this customer address also you can place it here. After that, we have this email address. So we'll add it here. And now we'll remove this sales order and we'll add it here. That's it. OK, after that, I'll just activate this. Then here, OK, so here automatically, like after a couple of seconds, at least this error will be gone. Let's activate this. OK. So now it is giving here error like element sales order UID must have at least one annotation. OK, it must have at least one annotation. So like if you're not adding it any annotation, you can remove this code. OK, not required. And now it's giving error for like UI.selection field label unknown. So remove this label. And after that, it's saying overall status must have at least one annotation.
I think so. We have missed that sequence. See, first sales order has to come, then the line item, right?
First sales order should come, then line item.
Then 9. See, first 9 I think it has to come, then 7 and 8.
Sorry. Can you repeat that once?
No, I am
First.
thinking first
Mm-hmm.
line number 9 has to come, sales order, then this annotation has to come. Am I right?
The annotation, right? No, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
It is not matter. Only the thing is that see, you're specifying annotation, it doesn't matter, but it should be declared on before your field name. Okay, so that is must. Like if I'm adding annotation for sales order, so as I know, what I can see, like once the semicolon is identified after that field, it means whatever the code that you have added, it belongs to this field. Okay, so once you add the semicolon, so that specific code will be terminated. So after that, again, you can start that annotation for that field. Okay, so otherwise it would be very hard to differentiate like which annotation belongs to which field. Okay, so we just activated this now annotation. Now I think yes. So once we activate that, now let's go back to the app and let me refresh this and let's see if any change is happening or not. It won't change. Now it will get it from metadata dot extension. See, same output. Okay, there will be no change. Why? Because now we are using the metadata dot extension file instead of CDS view. So now let's go back now let's add a search field. So to add a search field, so which property we need to add? So I think yesterday we added the property of search field, right? So we added search dot searchable colon true. And then once we add that, so the basic requirement is whenever you're adding this search at the rate search dot searchable true, then we need to specify at least one default search field. So let's say I'm adding a search field for sales order. Okay, let's consider I'm going to add. Okay, I'm going to add a search field here. So now inside this, I have to add a default search field as a true, and then you can also add the fuzziness. Okay, fuzziness threshold you can mention, and then here like you can mention like 0.8. Okay, that's it. Now just activate this once. So I'll explain what is 0.8 and what is this fuzziness threshold. Now just reload this once. Now once you reload, then only you will see like one search bar will come. Can you see one search bar here? How it is coming? It is coming based on that annotation that we have added. Okay, so two annotations are required. First of all, in basic CDS view, we need to add this at the rate search dot searchable colon true. And after that, we have to specify this at the rate search. And then at least one field, we have to make it as a search element for that search field. Then only that search field will appear. Otherwise, it won't come. Okay, it says at least one element has to be set as a default search element. So we have already added that inside the metadata.extension file. Okay, so if you want, you can also specify that in this place if you want. Otherwise, it's okay to maintain that in annotation itself. So what is this fuzziness threshold? Threshold value means like whenever you are searching for any value, like for example, you're searching for SAP. Okay, so you want to search for SAP value and you just added AP. Okay, so when you added AP in the search field, so what will happen in that case? So do you think that it should bring? Yes, it will bring for all the it will bring the values which are matching with that AP. So wherever the AP is there within that, so it will search for that. Okay, so now basically the search field we have added for mostly for the sales order. So if I go back, sorry, I guess we have activated this. Okay, so let me search for like we have a sales order. Let me search for 02 once. Okay, can you see? So it is searching for 02. Wherever it's you're identifying means wherever 02 is available in the sales order, it's bringing each and every value from that. Okay, so like contains. So you already know a contains a filter operation. So whenever any value is getting matched, and if it is a starting or if it is getting identified in between or at the end, so all that values will be picked. Okay, and it will be displayed. So that's how we need to define as threshold. So basically that threshold, it will be in between 0 to 1. Okay. So the common value that we basically add, the standard value that we have to specify in that threshold is 0.8. So that is a threshold value basically. And then why we are adding? Because in some cases, like in search field, mostly it will look for the direct value. Like for example, if I want to search for Techem, okay. So if I search for Taken, let's see whether it is there or not. It won't be there. Sorry, why it is taking so long? Okay, it looks like it's calling the service, I guess. Okay. We need to like, I don't know, means like it might be a server issue as well.
So Avik, just one thing. I mean, I'm just confused
Mhm.
about the threshold ones. If meanwhile
Mhm.
you can explain it
Yeah,
again. So,
so threshold means like, okay, 1 second. Just let me reload this. I don't know, some
yeah.
issue is there with the service. Now looks like app itself is not running.
No, it's happening at my end also. It's the same thing that is happening.
Now,
It's yeah, it's running continuously, but
I don't know, like maybe it's an
it
server
said
issue.
no. It said no items found, but there was item, I guess.
I can create a new project here because I have this. Okay, okay, I think it started working now. Okay, so now when you say like Techem, okay, I think for this particular C, no item found. Okay, that's it. See, why it is not able to identify? Because we didn't added any search field accordingly, right? For example, so we'll do one thing. So this Techem, we know that this value is available inside the company name,
No, I think
right?
so. We have given for sales order, no, the search field. That's why it is searching in the
Yes,
sales order.
right, right. It is searching inside the sales order. So we'll copy the same and now we will pass it for the customer name. Yes, sorry, customer name is nothing but our company name. Okay, let it be. So now here I will place and I'll just activate this for a while. And now let me reload this. Okay, see by default it's filtering, okay, because we have specified that value. That's why. So let me remove this. I think it is storing in URL as well. So now when I search for tech, okay, when I search for tech and if I hit enter, so it will bring the values which are starting with TEC, right? So that TEC is also available in other company name like Asia High Tech, in telecommunication. So wherever that TEC, that text is available in company name, so from all that places, it is bringing the values. And then how it is bringing the values? It is bringing the values based on the threshold, the fuzziness threshold that we have added. Okay, means like it will not strictly check for that tech. It's wherever that text is available within that word. So all that data will be populated here. Otherwise, like let's say like if I'm adding anything, so if I want to bring that specific value only, I don't want to bring other matching values because I want a value with taken only. So in that case, you can just specify the fuzziness threshold as one, threshold as one or maybe zero. So let's do one thing. So now let me add this as a zero and let's activate this once. Okay, so we activated this. Let's reload this once. I guess so that filter would be there. Unable to load data. Yes, because yes, some issue is there. Could not load annotation file. Looks like the zero that we have added. Let me see one thing, 0.1.
So, Avik, is there any like SAP for SAP UFI how the demo kit is there? Like
Mhm.
for the CDS use any demo because where we want to use and where what we want to use. Is there anything like that where we can see?
Yeah, yes. For CDS views, basically we have a SAP help document where you can find functions and all the annotations that we are using here. All that annotations are available in a SAP help document. You can
Okay.
just search for uh, CDS SAP.help document, and then you'll get a first link here, CDS documents. Okay, as help.sap.com. So in this URL or SAP help portal, you will see like a document for the CDS where
So
you
this
can
is
get all the things.
people will like initially has followed, am I right?
Yes. Okay. So all like basic syntax and all everything is given here in this case, if you want to
Okay.
try.
Yes. Okay.
So
Thank you.
one more documentation link is there, like CDS views. This one, ABAP. Okay, it is completely different. Okay, but yes, you can directly search for that and then you'll get the link. So it's already available on Google. You can just search for a CDS document. So now what we added, in the threshold, we added just 0.1. So if I search for TEC, so let's see. Now it is searching for only TEC, like wherever the TEC is getting there. Can you see like for E also it's checking? Can you see? Because in first, I guess TEC it's not there fully. Only I can see E, and apart from that, like T is there, so it is searching for T as well. But I don't see a proper means like let's say I want a text which is only starting with TEC, so I can see that on line number second only. So whenever you want to do a strict searching part, then you can specify the threshold value as one. So if you say the threshold value as one,
So with one, it will at least search with the continuous text if available.
yes, if available, right? See, it is strictly checking now. So if I add take him, now it will bring the values.
Oh, okay, even
Okay.
it didn't get for TEC.
Yes, it didn't get for TEC. Means it will check for proper value, like a
Proper
condition,
word.
strict condition.
Okay.
If that value is available, then only it will filter out the data, otherwise not. So if you don't want that kind of search functionality, then you can just specify the fuzziness threshold value as 0.5 or 0.8. But the standard value that we maintain is 0.8 only.
Okay. So that's why it was able to at least search for TEC.
Yes, at least it was able to search for TEC.
Anything which had TEC in the starting with.
Right, right. Means anything like not with the starting, like if that TEC word, that text is
Any
available
word,
within a word.
right?
Yes, any word.
Any word that starts with TEC,
Any word start
ideally.
with TC or ends with TC or in between
TEC.
that TC is there. So all
Oh, in
that,
between also.
yes,
Okay.
in between also.
Okay.
Like in
Okay.
this case, if you have seen, like it was also bringing this TEC.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah,
And otherwise, if you're doing it one, then it will search for TEC as a word as a whole.
yes, it will search for as a whole as a word. Yes. Otherwise, the remaining search results, it will be ignored in that case. Okay, so now this is about the search functionality. So wherever the words or anything that you want to search, like you can directly specify this search field. Okay, you can directly specify this at the rate search annotation, and within that you can just add these two properties. Default